Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, yes, I know that you know this already, but I am doing this video just for the purpose of documenting this. Guys, I bring you this. Nigerians rate President Buhari's performance after 5 years in office as extremely poor. So now extremely poor is the verdict. Of course, I don't think there's any surprise there, and I know that you know this already, but we have to do this video just to document this. The headline again: Nigerians rate President Buhari's performance after 5 years in office as extremely poor. So now let's now see exactly what reasons they are giving for this. Nigerians have rated the performance of President Muhammadu Buhari's 5 years in office as being extremely poor. In a poll conducted by Sahara reporters on social media, over 80% of respondents rated Buhari as poor, saying his administration had been marred by ethnic and corruption allegations. The poll, which was conducted on Facebook and Twitter, had 21,200 and 26,643 votes respectively. On Facebook, 75% of the voters said Buhari performed poorly, whilst 25% believed that he performed excellently. Meanwhile, on Twitter, while 62.3% of voters claimed Buhari performed extremely poor, 20.7% believed that he performed poorly, with only 17% of the voters saying Buhari performed well. Some of the voters gave reasons for their decisions on rating Buhari's 5 years performance in office as Nigeria's president. Jude said, "Even asking to rate him gives him credit. What are we going to rate? Borrowing without nothing to show for it? Federal character he knows nothing about? Rule of law that is no longer existing? Or security of the nation? Just tell me where to rate him." One Trump is now 450 naira. So they're using Donald Trump, to signify the dollar, because there's dollar in parentheses. So one Trump is now 450 naira. History will never be fair to him. Poor. Bashir Taruwa said, "I would like to use this medium to congratulate Buhari/APC for 5 years of disappointment, hardship, insecurity, and borrowing. May your kind never be president again." So now this is now from his heartland, now the Buhari heartland. So I am asking this question, and I have asked this question on previous videos, that where exactly is Buhari's constituency, because they seem to now at least they are starting to now hate him as much in the northern regions as they do in the southern regions. But his constituency, of course, is the Attorney General of the Federation, the Chief Justice of the Federation, all his clansmen, the Inspector General of Police is clansmen, and the Army Chief is clansmen. And that is it, really. He has surrounded himself with all of the important positions, all of the positions that hold sway within the Nigerian space. He has put his loyalists there, and they, of course, are his constituency. So you have to get past the army and the police to get Buhari out of office. You have to get past the Minister of Justice, Hausa Fulani man, Abubakar Malami, to get Buhari out of office. You have to get past Tanko Mohammed, the Chief Justice of the country, to get Buhari out of office. You have to get past Mahmoud Yakubu, a Hausa Fulani man and a Buhari appointee, to get Buhari out of office. So once he has surrounded himself with all of these people who are his constituency, then it doesn't really matter what the rest of the 200 million of you, according to their statistics, that is. But I don't believe that Nigeria has a population of 200 million people. I think they are counting their relatives from Chad and Niger Republic, etc., to the numbers. But we go with that. It doesn't really matter what, however many million of you think, so long as he has himself surrounded by these loyalists. That is really all that matters, and that is what we are saying playing out now. So that is Buhari's constituency, the army chief, the inspector general of police, the chief justice of the federation, the minister of justice, and the man in charge of the elections. So those are the people that he needs to continue to sustain himself in power, and we saw that play out in February 2019 when we were told that it doesn't matter if Buhari has schools out or not, he's going to be your president for as long as he's alive. And that is really the situation we find ourselves. So let's get back to it. Emmanuel Oyedeji is the next commentator, and he said Buhari's 5 years in Aso Rock has been a monumental disaster. So I don't think you can really expand on that, and I don't really think there's anybody of any sense that can present a contrary argument to that. His administration is full of bigotry, nepotism, laziness, ineptitude, abuse of known laws and human rights. Under his watch, Nigeria became the headquarters of extreme poverty in the world, with an earning of over $100 billion. Jacob JJ is the next person to speak up. Jacob JJ, and this is what Jacob has to say. Buhari has successfully institutionalized hunger. He has made killing a normal thing. He has made the office of chief of staff the most powerful, even more powerful than the vice president's office. He has made promise and fail a culture. So promise and fail is now a cult. Of course, there's nobody that epitomizes promise and fail but Malam Buhari. So this guy is saying exactly as it is. He has made promise and fail a culture. So this is what he has to say. But disagreeing with others, these are Ayobami is the next commentator, so he disagrees. So, but disagreeing with others, Ayobami said PMB, which is of course President Muhammadu Buhari, Malam Buhari, PMB managed the little resources available relative to those before him. He is the best person for the job so far. His accomplishments in 5 years are far better than the achievement of 16 wasteful period of PDP. So that's 16 wasteful years is intending to say. So let's just see how we can marry that up and just use good luck. Let's use Goodluck Jonathan, Obasanjo, and Yar'Adua as the examples. So Yar'Adua, of course, managed to solve the Niger Delta crisis in just a very short period that he was the president of the country. Obasanjo managed to cancel and do away with all of the debts in the country. He left Nigeria debt-free when he handed over to Yar'Adua through his dealings with Paris Club and managing the finances and putting the best people in best positions. He managed to end the or to cancel out, rather, to remove the debts that the Nigerian state was owing. Obasanjo also singularly and to his credit introduced GSM, the internet, mobile, telecom, etc., into the country, because that of course came in under Obasanjo's regime. The mobile phone that you are using now is all credit, especially if you are in Nigeria, is all credit to Obasanjo. So he cancelled the debt, he introduced mobile communication, and he did all this and that, and he appointed the best person for the job. The governor of Kaduna State was the minister for Abuja. He did not care that he's a Fulani man. He thought he was the best man for the job then. The one thing that Obasanjo always says throughout all of his 8-year term in that position is to say that, is this person the best man for the job, and why is he the best man for the job? So if the answer is yes, and with an explanation that satisfies him, he doesn't care if you are from Mars or Pluto or Yoruba land or China. You are the best man for the job to propel the country forward, and thus you get the job. So all of the people, of course, now that we are celebrating within the Nigerian space, Obasanjo men, that guy in the African Bank, I can't remember his name, is an Obasanjo man. Madam Obi, etc., etc. The list is countless. They are all Obasanjo men. Though of course, we've already said solved the Niger Delta crisis. And Goodluck Jonathan, if anybody was to argue, is probably one of the top three most effective presidents that Nigeria has ever had. The Kaduna to Abuja railway that people are enjoying now to escape Boko Haram, all the big men. Goodluck Jonathan built that from start to finish in just 6 years in governance. The train that runs, the metro line that runs from the Abuja airport into Abuja city, so that you get out of the aircraft and just board a well cushioned, very nice metro system to take you into the city. That was built from start to finish by Goodluck Jonathan. The Almajiri schools in the all of the northern regions were built by Goodluck Jonathan. All of the roads in Nigeria that we have today, all the new constructions, and this, by the way, is not according to me, it's according to Fashola, Baba, whatever it is, Fashola, the Minister of Roads and Transport, Roads and Works, or whatever it is, the Minister for Roads, more importantly, which is to the point that I'm making. Fashola himself, when he came into office, said Goodluck Jonathan has built more roads in Nigeria than any president in the history of that country. I'll go and look for a link to the video where he said it and put it in the comment section, so you don't have to take my word for that. So that's what Goodluck Jonathan did. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, I always cite that example. He progressed it to 25-30% reconstruction, rehabilitation before he left office. So these were the things that Goodluck Jonathan did. But can you please name one single thing that Malam Buhari has done? He will tell you that he's doing a school feeding program, and he's put his girlfriend there, Sadia Umar Farouk, and that one is just helping them to bag money out of the country. This is what we hear. He will tell you that they are doing all this money for the extremely poor, 10,000 naira, but there's no documentation, there's no audit trail. So they take the money out of the central bank, and the money then between the central bank and the people that are claiming that they are giving the money to, it disappears. Nobody knows, nobody cares. Abdullahi Ganduje, of course, he is already collecting his own in dollars and putting it in his pocket. We've all seen the video. Nobody knows, nobody cares. There's not one single thing, not one road, not one. Look at, because Goodluck Jonathan was in government for 6 years. Malam Buhari is now in government for 5 years, and we only 5 years and a bit actually. So we only now need an additional 12 months for him to now match Goodluck Jonathan's term in office. But then does it match his record? This is really where the question is. Under Goodluck Jonathan's regime, there was reports, and a lot of you will verify this, that the electricity situation in Nigeria was starting to improve. Even my own mother was telling me, because she lives in Lagos, even my own mother was telling me that the electricity is improving, but they're still taking the lights, etc., etc. I think she was telling me this in a conversation where we were trying to get some converter that will protect the appliances in the home from the epileptic electricity situation in Nigeria. So she was telling me about the improvement in 2014, 2015 then, but now the conversations that we have now is about getting a bigger generator to carry the weight of the house, because of course there's no electricity anymore. So the electricity was improving under Goodluck Jonathan, because he identified that if they provide roads, electricity, and a bit and security for the country will blossom by itself. He identified that, and Goodluck Jonathan, as I said, was in office for 6 years. Malam Buhari has been in office for 5 years now. So what now can you point to as an achievement of Malam Buhari that matches all of the things that Goodluck Jonathan achieved? Not a single thing. There's not one thing. The only thing that we can point to is all these fake school feeding programs that they're using to loot money, all these fake social security system for the poor that they're using to loot money, and Abdullahi Ganduje pocketing dollars. This is the only narrative that will follow Buhari out of office. That is, if he does leave office in 2015, which nobody can say with certainty that he will. But let's carry on. Let's see what else is being said here, just to round off this thing, because it's dragging on a bit. So let's pick it up from the top of that paragraph again. But disagreeing with others, Ayobami said PMB managed the little resources available relative to those before him. He is the best person for the job so far, and that ends with an exclamation mark. His accomplishments in 5 years are far better than the achievement of 16 wasteful period of PDP. So, of course, an idiotic opinion, in my opinion. You may agree, but to my own understanding, this commentator here is an absolute fool. So let's go on to, I think this is the last comment. Okoli is the next person now to comment. Okoli, and this is what Okoli has to say. PMB has done well in infrastructure and some other areas. If the previous government did half of what he has done so far, Nigeria would have been a wonderful place to be. His government has done well in the southeast. So this is to my Igbo people, so you can come and verify this. His government has done well in the southeast, especially on our roads. I can attest to that. Kudos to him. So kudos to Buhari is how we are rounding off, according to an Igbo guy. But then, of course, I know I have a lot of Igbo following on this channel. So please come and attest to this, so that I can make the apologies in the next video that I do, that Malam Buhari has been the best president in terms of taking care of the Igbos that we have ever had, according to this character now that made that last comment. Conversations in the comment section. Nigerians rate President Buhari's performance after 5 years in office as extremely poor. That's the headline. What is your headline? What is your rating of the Malami? Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me how you are rating Malam Buhari and his band of merry men in the comment section after 5 years of enduring them. Come tell me what your rating is in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.